So, very good evening, friends. Meeting again in the session of Materia Medica after a big gap. Today, we're going to learn very important remedy. A remedy which has so much of depth. A remedy from psychotuberculosis syphilitic miasm. It is a very depicting remedy at all levels. The psychotic miasm it covers the tubercular miasm, it covers the syphilitic miasm. It means it is a mixed miasmatic picture. So, psoriasis, syphilis, all miasms are covered under the same remedy, and it is a wonderful remedy to learn. If you learn it by heart, then you apply it very easily in your practice. I have learned it very late in my life because unless and until you get that core of what is exactly the phosphoric acid, you cannot apply. It is not just finding it out the symptomatology and just making a simillimum. It's not so simple. Unless you get the core of the remedy, then it becomes rather simple to reach to the patient and find it out a remedy. And that's why today I will going to share my experiences and then we'll turn towards the Allen's notes. I think this remedy will require at least 2 days to learn. First, I will share the cases. So first case was very typical 53 years man who was diabetic since last 10 years, who used to be a typical phosphorus patient. He was very enthusiastic, everything good looking, smart. Everything was typical phosphorus, craving for ice cream, and all those things were there in his life. But when he entered in my clinic, he was absolutely rather opposite of it, only constitutionally looking phosphorus. And he was absolutely in a depressed mood. He was not able to talk properly. So much of indifference developed in him. And he came alone. And then he said, Doctor, my problem I have not shared with anyone, but I have to share it today, and that's why I have come. And he had developed a diabetic impotency. And that impotency was so severe that he was not able to make a relation with his wife since last 2 3 years. And he was absolutely disturbed because of it. There were quarrels between him and his wife at the age of 53 on this issue of not keeping the sexual relationship. And on that day, they had a big quarrel, and this fellow came to me. And he was in an absolutely disturbed mood. He said that, Doctor, I feel that I must suicide. I'm so disturbed. I feel guilty that I cannot perform. That was his problem. And this happens whenever I used to keep the contact with my wife. There is a tremendous desire in my mind, but there is a guilt in my mind that whether I will able to do or not, and because of that thought, because of that guilt, I cannot perform, and there is no question since last 3 years. Whenever I feel desire, I used to masturbate, and he used to masturbate since long time, and he himself gets satisfied with that, but he cannot perform, and that is the problem of his wife. So this is what the case. So the person who was looking typical phosphorus, but a debilitated phosphorus. Debilitated phosphorus is phosphoric acid, who has become absolutely indifferent to the things which he loved first. Looks very similar to sepia, but sepia is not like that. Sepia's indifference is rather different. It is because of some things happens in their life, or quarrels or disputes, or all those things matters a lot for sepia to become an indifferent. Here the question of a guilt comes many times. It is a question of weakness, not able to perform. No one is able to talk or to discuss, to communicate. The apatheticness, the listlessness, which is quite common with this remedy. So he was in that phase. The person who, when I asked about the desires, he said, I used to love fruit juices. But what has happened, doctor, I don't know. Since last 6 months, I'm also feeling that I don't want to take, even though you offer me a fruit juice. Now I don't feel. But if you had asked me 6 months back, yes, I was craving for it. So to everything in the life, he becomes indifferent and apathetic. That was very typical with this fellow. And this fellow, which who was looking so nice, so cute, because his skin was very typically delicate, he was fair colored and everything which was there, and in a depression. So I have started him directly in high potency. I have given acid first to him in 1 potency, 3 doses on day one, 3 doses on next day. And along with that, when I checked his blood sugar, it was varying. It was sometimes it was going very high, sometimes it is around 200, but many times it used to happen more than 250 to 300, even though he was on anti-diabetic treatment. So I have added along with that the CGGM jam mother tincture, 15 drops twice a day, and have given the 5 phos, which 24 number, which contains all 5 phos from bicarbonate. They are very good stimulants. It works beautifully in many cases. So I have started with that. And when he returned after 15 days for follow-up, he was absolutely different person. He said, Doctor, what you have gained, I don't know, but it worked. It worked and it gave me confidence. First time I felt yes, I can perform, and I had a contact with my wife after 3 years, and I was able to perform, because of which I gained my confidence again in my life. I'm a different person now. So very specific remedy for diabetic impotency where the patient is absolutely debilitated, weak, apathetic, depressed, listless, indifferent. This is a wonderful remedy to be thought of. So this is the first case where which I have shared. Second case was also interesting case. It was hopeless case, in fact, hopeless. I was called to visit the home of one patient. His son came to me and he said that physician has declared that you call or your relatives, and our relatives are there since 2 days waiting for the death of my father. But someone told that you just try homeopathy. So I asked what has happened. Doctor, you know, my father is a diabetic patient since long time. At present, he is running 84. And since last week, he started getting tremendous weakness. Then he was in a he was not able to walk properly. There was his gait was tremulous. And he was making many missteps while walking. And one day he fell down. And after fell down, when it was painful or not, we don't know. No one was there with him. And then when we understood that he fell down, then we went over there and we have kept him on cot. And that day, from that day, he has become a stuporous. He was in drowsy state. And he was, whenever I used to call him, then he used to just open the eyes. Sometimes tries to talk, but no one is able to listen. Or many times during that stupor state, he was just muttering himself. And he is absolutely in a such a condition that we are feeling that he will not come out of that situation. So all of our relatives are there, but he was not able to recognize anyone, even to his own daughters. We have, I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. He is not able to recognize anyone. And when physician was called upon, physician told us that there is case is hopeless and nothing can be done. And he's there. Can you visit our place? And I went over there. When I saw him, I saw he was absolutely in a stuporous condition. His son tried to wake him up. He opened just eyes, looked towards me, and again went into the same state. He was in a semi-comatose state. Then the diabetes was the thing. Third, he was the old. Fourth, he was absolutely debilitated. And fifth, most important, he was absolutely indifferent to everyone who was there around. So it is a typical case, hopeless case of a diabetic, senile diabetic weakness. So better to start with the acid first. The clear picture of acid first was there. So considering his age, considering his susceptibility, I have given just acid first 203 doses to him, and I have asked him, please let me know tomorrow what happens, and then we'll consider again to repeat the dose or not. It was at night time, 9 o'clock, and so I have given him 3 doses. It was given to him. After second dose only, he slept in a strong mood. Third dose was not, he has not received, and he went into slow sleep. And till next day, 10 o'clock, he was sleeping. And when he was aroused of the sleep, he was absolutely again the old fellow who was there before falling. He was looking around and there were all peoples who gathered together, and he asked, Doc, what has happened to you? Why all of you are gathered? And he asked his daughters, 2 daughters, that why you are here? All those things. And he was not knowing what has happened in last 5 days. And he was absolutely different. It was a miracle. It was just a miracle which has happened within whole sleep, during the sleep. And he recovered. Thereafter, this fellow survived for 3 to 4 years after 3 doses, 2 doses, in fact, of acid phosphoricum 200. So this is the core of the remedy. The diabetes, the debility, the indifference, the apatheticness, the stuporous condition, muttering delirious states, unconsciousness, all those things, the indifference to loved ones, all those things which you can find it out with the acid forms. So this core, if you understand, then you can use this remedy. And this fellow, in younger phase, before a disorder, is absolutely looks like a phosphorus. So we have to understand this core and we have to learn every sentence. Alan has very nicely explained this remedy. So my suggestion will go sentence by sentence, understand every meaning of the word, and even though it takes 2 lectures, it doesn't matter. So open your books, phosphoric acid, glacial phosphoric acid, HPO3, best suited to persons of originally strong constitution. The words which he has used is very important. The first line only, he defines the constitution. Originally strong constitution means now it is not. At the end of life or during the senile phase, it is not. Originally, he was constitution is very strong. Who have become debilitated by loss of vital fluids. And loss of vital fluids is given in bold. What is loss of vital fluids? Loss of vital fluids means loss of blood. But here in this remedy, it is loss of semen, basically. Semen is very, very important. And this remedy has lot of problems with sexual sphere. There is increased desire in younger phase. Tremendous desire. Tremendous tendency to pollutions. Pollutions means seminal losses during sleep. There is continuous excessive desire which used to produce that seminal emissions. It used to produce even the masturbation tendency in very early young age. And this loss of vital fluid is the most important reason to become early senility or to become early premature old age. And this acid first is the remedy for prematurely old age person. So who have become debilitated by loss of vital fluids, sexual excesses. See, he has written the sex sentence. Next sentence is sexual excesses, like Sinkhonaba. And this one has to understand. This is phosphorus. This is like a phosphorus. Violent acute diseases, debility due to violent acute disease. So it might be typhoid. It might be any acute disease, any acute communicable disease. And it is of a severe character and debility comes. So after that, after acute disorders, when debility persists and it is strong debility, think of acid first as a single dose remedy to stimulate and recover that debility. Debilitated by loss of vital fluids, sexual excesses, violent acute diseases, chagrin. What is chagrin? Chagrin is tremendous anger. It is tremendous anger which is saturated over there. Or a long succession of moral emotions as grief, care, disappointed affection. Three important things. Long succession of moral affection. So immorality, a feeling of guilt which develops over there. Guilt is very characteristic over there. The guilt is at all level. Guilt is at sexual sphere. They cannot perform. That is the guilt. Guilt is there that they used to masturbate a lot. Guilt is there. The guilt is there that they are doing immoral things. There is a big grief over there. These are the persons where debility comes because of the disappointed love. And why this disappointed love? Disappointment and love is at the physical level. This is the problem with the phosphoric acid. So, a long succession of moral emotions as grief, care. There is a question of a care comes. And last is disappointed affection. So no one have taken their care. That is one more feeling which is there in them. Or rather opposite, they are not able to take the care of others. That is also another thing which is there with the phosphoric acid. Both things, but both at the producing the guilt in their mind, and because of which the debility happens to be there. Many times I have seen these people that they feel that I must help my son, but they cannot because they are debilitated. They cannot take the care. They cannot help others. That is the problem. Original phosphorus is more sympathetic. Every time tries to work for others. Show it is original sympathy which you can see in phosphorus, genuine sympathy. But here that guilt develops. They are not able to be helpful for others, and that guilt is they are not able to care for others. So see, first paragraph gives you a lot about the phosphoric acid, how the person is, why he has debility, the reasons behind debility, reasons behind how the strong constitution becomes debilitated. Everything is mentioned by Allen in a first paragraph, and he defines the remedy over there. If you understand this, then you can, yes, find it out. I have missed this remedy. Many times it happens, I missed this remedy. When you get the core, then you start understanding, array, this was there, this fellow was up acid first, but I missed. Because we have not understood that specific thing. Elements from care, elements from chagrin, elements from grief, elements from sorrow, and elements from homesickness, like capsicum, like ignatia. The homesickness remedy. So these people gets affected because of things. They either never gets the care or they are not able to take the care. There is a tremendous anger with themselves only because they are not able to work hard. They are not able to perform. The chagrin develops as a result of it. A long-lasting grief affects them. It might be disappointment in love which affects them, which disturbs them. A sorrow. A sorrow is again a grief. Homesickness, already we have discussed. Homesickness, the characteristic remedy, capsicum is homesickness remedy, ignatia is homesickness remedy. Because they phosphorus is the person who used to like a company a lot. They like their home. They makes their home whenever they goes. And because of which if they lack that love, the problem starts. Sleepy elements from, then what are the things which develops? The person becomes sleepy. Disposed to weep, they start weeping and weeping and weeping. Most commonly, you can see this weeping more in senile person. Night sweats toward the morning. Night sweats toward the morning indicates a tubercular diathesis. Phosphorus itself is a tubercular remedy. Phosphoric acid has that specific entity. The tuberculosis is producing a debility and a night sweating. Acid phos one must think of. So acid phos has that depth. Then see how the person looks like. He looks pale. He looks sickly. So pale, sickly complexion. On face only you can catch. There is pallor is there. There is a sick feeling. Eyes are sunken. The eyes are sunken. हात ओढल्यासारखे वाटतं. Surrounded by blue margins, darkness around the eyes. Very typical of looks like pulsatilla. Dark circles around the eye. So face itself shows the debility. Face itself shows the prostration. Face itself shows the sickly appearance. Is listless. One we will learn this one paragraph, which is very important, is listless. Listless means not having interest now in anything. Earlier he used to be very enthusiastic fellow. Now he is listless. Apathetic. First, he used to talk a lot, vivacious. Now, apathetic, never wants to say something, never utters a word, not having interest in anything. Both words are given by Allen in bold. Why bold? Because they have that much of capacity to define the remedy. These are whatever written by Allen in bold has a strong tendency toward that thing. The patient is listless, the patient is apathetic, indifferent to the affairs of life. So, regarding all affairs of the life, whether it is business, whether it is relation, whether it is related with his work, whether it is related with study, whatever it may be, their life affairs, he becomes indifferent. Prostrated. So, he's prostrated and stupefied with grief. Stupefied, never understanding what is happening around them, stuporous condition, stupefied. So, prostration and stupefied with grief, indifferent to those things that used to be of most interest. It is like sepia. But in sepia, it is related with the relations. Here, it is related to all things. It is related with their work, it is related with their studies, it is related with their singing, it is related with their relations, many things to which they are very, very like having very much interest. Now they becomes indifferent. Now they becomes listless regarding those things, especially if there be debility and emaciation. The reason behind that is the debility. The reason behind that is emaciation. And they explain they don't have capacity. So I will, if anyone asks you, are you able to come to for a drama? No, I don't have capacity. No, you go, please you go. I never come. And it is because of debility, it is because of emaciation, it is because of prostration. And that's why they become indifferent to those things. So debility is the word one should not forget with phosphoric acid. It is, yes, it is related to each and every acid. But here, diabetic debility. Most marked. So this word one should not forget regarding this remedy. I think we'll stop over here. Tomorrow we'll finish this remedy. We'll understand this remedy at all level. Even though if it requires one more lecture, it doesn't matter, because it gives us lot of things regarding phosphoric acid. And this is a wonderful remedy one must understand. If you understand this core, I'm damn sure you'll utilize it in your practice. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot for attending session. Thank you, Ali, being there.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, RK sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank
good
you, sir.
night. Good
Thank
night.
you, sir.
Good night, sir.
We'll meet tomorrow again.